presidential jet.
There is good sound at your background.
Economy of this country. The dollar.
Hello and welcome to News.band. My name is Lydia Adoda. We bring you the news for today. First, the headlines. Peter Obi in Katsina visits the mother of Yaradua's Shehu and Umaru. Peter Obi addressed PDP delegates in Kano. I didn't resign as minister, says Ngige. Ganduje directs head of service to step into chief of staff office. Asman air passenger stranded for 24 hours in Kano. How Justice Mary Odili saved my political career by Wike. And Akwa Ibom government denies barring Atiku Abubakar from meeting delegates. I was rejected when I returned to Ogun, says Lagos Senate eyeing colleagues' seats. Kaduna train attack terrorists release kidnapped pregnant woman. Three children soldiers killed in Pakistan suicide blast. Now the details. First, we start with Peter Obi in Katsina visit the mother of Yaradua's Shehu and Umar. His Excellency Peter Obi visits the mother of the Yaradua's Shehu and Umaru, Adija Dada, a woman that gave birth to both #1 and #2 citizens of Nigeria in the civilian and military era, respectively. I may not know a word in Hausa, but I can recognize excellent hospital when I see one. Katsina people are wonderful. Rounding up with visit to the Yaraduas, we just rounded up the visit to Katsina with the visit to Hajia Aya Yaradua, the mother of the former President Yaradua in Katsina. We're moving to the next story just after this. Looking through the windows as our flight descended into the Katsina airport, one observed a good and well-connected network of roads. How did they do it? Is it a byproduct of having produced two presidents? Katsina is a state of human contradictions. The state gave us our Yaradua acclaimed as one of the best, focused and humane presidents. Buhari, let me grant your imagination free rein on how I would have described him. We are in his place and cannot take any battle to his doorsteps. Otherwise, we should be blamed for so inconsiderate a decision. However, one memory keeps assaulting us about Katsina. The bequeathal, when President Yaradua was the governor, he instructively handed over about 5 billion naira to his successor. Mr. Peter Obi bettered his instruction by handing over 75 billion naira to his successor. Yaradua did very well as a governor. He even did better as a president in spite not operating at a full capacity. Obi did well as a governor and will certainly do well if given the opportunity to become the president of this country. What are we waiting for? Please jump on the bandwagon. Over now to this next story. Security operatives to embark on show of force over fresh blasphemy. Now the details. The Nigerian Army, Nigerian Police Force, NPF, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, and Civilian Joint Task Force, CJTF, say they will embark on a show of force within the Maiduguri metropolis in Borno State. The decision was reached at a meeting held at the Borno Police Command. The meeting was attended by the Garrison Commander 7th Division, other heads of other security agencies, leaders of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, and chief imams, among others. According to Zagazola Makama, a counterinsurgency expert in Lake Chad, the show of force is the result of rumors of protest over a blasphemous statement made against the Prophet Muhammad, SAW, by another lady on her Facebook page. The lady Naomi Goni, while arguing on Facebook with a fellow user of the platform, reportedly made a blasphemous statement, which immediately went viral with residents and youths calling for her arrest and prosecution or face or another consequence. Naomi immediately deleted her Facebook account. Zagazola said, according to the competent security sources who were present during the meeting, it was discovered that Naomi was not in Borno when she made the statement, but only attended one of the institutions in the state and had since left the state. Moving to the next story. 3 children soldiers killed in Pakistan suicide blast. A suicide bomber killed 3 children and 3 soldiers in an attack on a military vehicle in Pakistan's Risteve northwestern region, bordering Afghanistan, officials said on Sunday. The mountainous frontier separating Pakistan and Afghanistan had long been a hive of militant activity, with fighters using the porous border to escape state security forces. On Saturday evening, a suicide bomber detonated in a small market near Miran Shah in North Waziristan, just about 26 kilometers southeast of Afghanistan. Pakistan's army said 3 children aged between 4 and 11 years old were killed in the suicide blast, alongside 3 soldiers in the heavily militarized area. The bomber came by foot and blew himself up when a vehicle of security forces passed by. A local government official told AFP on condition of anonymity, Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif said that murderers of innocent children are enemies of humanity and Islam. We will not sit in peace until we hunt down these barbarians and those who patronize them, he added in a statement. The attack has not yet been claimed by any militant groups. The Pakistani Taliban Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, TTP, has a long history of plotting strikes in the region. The group is responsible for some of the bloodiest chapters of recent Pakistani history. A pregnant woman who was one of the abducted passengers in the Kaduna train attack on March 28 has been released by the terrorists. A member of the concerned relatives of abducted persons, Sani Musa, confirmed the development on Channels Television on Sunday. The pregnant woman, Tamina Mahmood, was said to have been released in compassionate spirit on Saturday afternoon after she and 61 others had spent 45 days in captivity. Shortly after her release, the freed lady was seen in a viral video where she appealed to the federal government to negotiate with the terrorists. According to her, the appeal has become necessary because of the uncertainty surrounding the plight of other kidnapped victims who were still in custody of the terrorists inside the forest. She also said that the terrorists took care of them, including feeding and their medical needs while in captivity. However, she noted that such treatment cannot be qualified with the comfort they would have enjoyed if they were in their various homes. The release of the woman brings to 2 the total number of the hostages that have been released so far by the terrorists. The first being the managing director of the Bank of Agriculture, BOA, Alwan Hassan, who allegedly secured his freedom after paying a ransom of 100 million naira. Still on the news. I was rejected when I returned to Ogun, says Lagos Senator Aine Kalik said the details. The Lagos West Senator Olamilekan Adeola Yayi says his return to Ogun State politics after about 20 years in Lagos State started on a rough note due to stiff resistance from his kinsmen and some political leaders. Adeola, who is now seeking to represent Ogun West at the Senate, said this on Saturday in Ilaro, Yewa local government area, shortly after he was conferred with a top chieftaincy title, Arvemo of Yewa land. The conferment was part of the 10th year coronation anniversary of the Olu of Ilaro and paramount ruler of Yewa land, Oba Kehinde Ogunbele, on Saturday. The senator who spoke with newsmen at the event said it was a rough battle switching his political base from Lagos to Ogun State. Adeola, however, said what started on a rough note is now as smooth as ever because his people have embraced and showed him love. Akwa Ibom governor denies barring Atiku Abubakar from meeting delegates. Details. The Akwa Ibom state government has denied media reports that Governor Udom Emmanuel Bad Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, a presidential aspirant under the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, from consulting with delegates from the state. The government said that Emmanuel welcomed the visit of the former vice president of the country to the state especially as Abubakar would also pay a visit to the governor after meeting the delegates. In a statement signed by the Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Mr. Ini Emomobong, on Sunday in Uyo, he described the media report as mischievous, stating that the governor cannot stop Abubakar from meeting delegates, as other aspirants have also visited the state. Emomobong said the report, which was laced with foul language, is alien to the accommodating disposition of the governor, and urged the public to disregard the news as the state's delegates and team were awaiting to receive the aspirants. The truth is that the governor, who has been in communication and contact with all other presidential aspirants, Atiku Abubakar inclusive, was informed that the former vice president will be visiting on Monday, 16th May 2022, to meet with delegates and thereafter see him, that is Governor Emmanuel, by 4 p.m., a proposal that was unhesitantly accepted. It is therefore pure mischief for anyone to insinuate that the governor is preventing Alhaji Abubakar from seeing delegates. Other presidential aspirants have visited the party in Akwa Ibom without a hitch, so why would Atiku's be different? We urge the entire public to discountenance of the fake news and treat it as an act of mischief of the highest order. Our delegates and team are waiting to receive the aspirant on the agreed date and time, he stated. However, Governor Udom Emmanuel is a fellow presidential aspirant as Abubakar under the People's Democratic Party, PDP. How Justice Mary Orderly Saved My Political Career by Wike. If you just joined us, this is News.band, and we're taking the news for today. Remember, you can follow us on our social media handles on Instagram, Facebook, and of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel. River State Governor Nyesom Wike has said that he will remain grateful to Justice Mary Orderly for her timely intervention that saved his political career in 2004. Wike said he cried to Justice Orderly when he discovered that his name was excluded from those cleared to contest as chairman of local council in the state. The governor said Mrs. Orderly listened to him and took the complaint to her husband, Dr. Peter Orderly, who was the governor of River State then. Wike spoke at the Thanksgiving to mark the 70th birthday of Justice Orderly and her retirement as Chief Justice of the Supreme Court at Our Lady of the Holy Rosary Chaplaincy Catholic Institute of West Africa, Siwa, in Port Harcourt on Sunday. The governor explained that the manner Justice Mary Orderly presented the matter got her husband acting on it immediately. She said her husband first invited the then Rivers People's Democratic Party, PDP, chairman Uche Secondus to confirm the observation and thereafter put a call across to the then National Secretary of the PDP, Chief Vincent Ogulafo. He said in 2004 that time the husband was the governor, so she was going to Boricam for Women Empowerment Scheme. I was to run for a second tenure as chairman of my local government, Obiako. Now, they were having lunch with her husband and the former state party chairman, then Prince Secondus Uche, and I was told that my name had been removed in the list, so I ran down to Government House. She has finished her own lunch, left her husband and was entering the vehicle. I said, "Mommy, I'm finished." She asked what happened. I said they removed my name. She ran back straight to her husband and informed him. Her husband asked who removed his name. At that time, Secondus had left. The husband then called the security at the gate. They stopped Secondus and asked him to come back. That was how I went back as second-term chairman. For me, I can't talk about my growth without mentioning her. If she was not around that day to see the governor, it's not an easy thing. Her being around that particular day saved my career in politics, and so that was how I grew from there to become what I am today, he concluded. I didn't resign as minister, says Ngige. The details of that story. The Senator Chris Ngige Media Office has dismissed the claims by a senior advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Femi Falana, that the Minister of Labour and Employment reviewed his resignation letter after the valedictory session with the President, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, retired on Friday. In a statement in Abuja, the office said the minister neither wrote nor submitted a resignation letter adding that Falana is embarrassing the public with a bad harvest of his bomber imagination. Falana had faulted Ngige and the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami's decision to drop their political aspirations in the 2023 general elections in order to remain members of the cabinet of the president, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, retired. Falana had stated the resignation of any person from any office established by this constitution shall take effect when the writing signifying the resignation is received by the authority or person to whom it is addressed, or by any person authorized by that authority or person to receive it. Since the resignation of the former minister has taken effect, they cannot return to the cabinet either of their own volition or on the directive of the president. But reacting to Falana, Ngige's media office said, "Dear Femi Falana, son, you conjured a resignation letter, hung it on Senator Chris Ngige, and went to town with it. That's very bad. Get your facts right, sir. First is that the Honorable Minister of Labor and Employment, Senator Chris Ngige, neither authored nor submitted a resignation letter to the president or any other person authorized by him. Therefore, the resignation letter you referred to does not exist." Ganduje directs head of service to step into a chief of staff office. Sequel to the resignation of Ali Haruna Makoda, Chief of Staff to Governor Abdullahi Ganduje of Kano State, Head of Civil Service Usman Bala has been directed to step into Makoda's former office. The former Chief of Staff, whose earlier resignation was rejected by Ganduje, is eyeing a House of Representatives seat, according to sources. The statement added, the governor expressed the hope for effective supervision and coordination by the head of service, having served in the office before. Makoda served as Commissioner of Environment in the first administration of Ganduje. Asman passengers stranded for 24 hours in Kano. Details. Passengers of the Asman Airlines have been stranded at Malam Aminu Kano International Airport, Makia, for over 24 hours. Some of the passengers had to spend the night at the departure wing of the airport, as they did not learn about the rescheduled flight until late in the evening. Many of the passengers traveling to Abuja and Lagos lamented that they were supposed to fly 4 p.m. on Saturday, but got the rescheduled notice around 8 p.m. I was here yesterday and expected to fly around 4 p.m., but these people were not even around to tell us anything, only to get notification around 8 p.m. that the flight has been rescheduled to Sunday today. Some of us spent the night here. This is totally disappointing, Jamilu Rabiu, one of the passengers, said. Peter Obi in Jiga visits Alhaji Sule Lamido. Mr. Peter Obi being received by the former governor of Jigawa State, Alhaji Sule Lamido, in his hometown, Bamaina, Jigawa State. What a gesture of friendship that reminds leaders of the need to strengthen the nation's centripetal force of unity. We just landed at Duse, Jigawa State. This is going to be our last port of call for today. On the way to the PDP Secretariat for the meeting with the stakeholders, Jigawa has a peculiarly arranged mountainous rock formation, layer by layer, laying above each other in pleasant symmetric formation. Even without being a geologist, the rock looks as susceptible to volcanic eruption. We need a transformational leader. Peter Obi is the answer. Okay, we move on to the next story. Peter Obi addresses PDP delegates in Kano. Peter Obi addressing PDP delegates in Kano State. Okuti arrives Malam Aminu Kano International Airport. Okuti arrives Malam Aminu International Airport and meets delegates. Okay. With this, we've come to the end of the news for today. My name is Lydia Odweda, and this is News.band. Do follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for news as they drop. Until we come your way again, good night.